Apple just shocked the tech world by not giving us just a few MacBooks, but throwing everything at us, even a surprise that I don't think they meant to do. So we're gonna be focusing on the new M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBooks and all of the changes and some marketing, I don't know if I should say gimmicks, but along with that, I'm gonna talk about some of the other products that were launched today briefly, and it just blows my mind what Apple just did. Now, I'm gonna start out with the M5 MacBook Air because this is a quick one, and I'm actually very happy about this one. The design is the same as you guys could see. The main thing is it is getting the M5 chip, and unfortunately, Vadim was wrong. We are getting some price increases, but not in the way that a lot of people expected. And as far as performance, they are still comparing to the M1, but of course with the M4, the previous model, their main advertising point is the LLM prompt processing. The AI with the M5 chip, we saw that before, have a massive improvement. And those dedicated cores make a big difference as long as your software can utilize it, which of course in their calculations here, they are showing off what makes the biggest difference. Now, if we glance at the detailed comparisons here, there's one thing that really stands out, and that is the fact that the M5 is labeled having 4 super cores and 6 efficiency cores. Yes, you heard that right, super cores, and looking at the previous M4, it has 4 performance cores with 6 efficiency cores. Now I'll talk about that in just a sec, but what makes me really happy is the fact that we now have a base storage of 512 gigabytes. Yes, finally. We had 16 gigs with the M4 as a base, that was amazing. Now the storage is also increased. So 16 gig 512 is the base, but unfortunately the price tag has also increased to $1,100. So $100 more, and honestly, I'm so happy about this because that means anybody that goes into a store and buys a MacBook Air is going to get an excellent machine instead of one that could be limiting them very shortly. And now let's talk about the MacBook Pros, and this is where things get really exciting and maybe a little bit disappointing as well. Now, if you're gonna be buying a new MacBook, make sure you get a nice and protective case like the Defender A13 laptop sleeve from our sponsor TomTalk, which features their corner armor design and high resilience edges to protect it from dings and scuffs, with a super soft microfiber lining and zip-up design to keep your laptop safe and sound, as well as a pocket for your charger and accessories. It's water resistant, fits in a backpack, and comes in a variety of colors, so get yours today with the link below. Now, the first thing I didn't expect with the M5 MacBook Pros is that Apple's discontinuing the one that just launched in October. Yes, that is right. They don't want to sell one that has 512 gigabytes of storage anymore. So if you want one of those, go to Amazon right now. It's $150 off until it's no longer there. Now the cheapest one costs $1,700 and it comes with 1 terabyte. No, Apple's not raising the price for the same configuration, but they are forcing you to spend more money. You get more storage, but you do have to pay for it. Apple made some dramatic claims with their short promo video. Something that sounds kind of crazy, and if you look into the fine print, the 8 times faster AI performance is compared to the M1. So Apple is even agreeing. A lot of people still have an M1. Now, just like the M5 chips, they have a neural accelerator built into each GPU core. And with these chips, especially the Maxes, there are a ton of cores. On the M5 Pro, we're going from a base of 12 core CPU up to a 15, and from 16 GPU cores, that is staying the same. But then if we take a look at the upgraded ones, well, you could have a 14 core, now it's an 18 core CPU. And here we're going back to the super cores, right? Before we had 10 performance cores for efficiency. Now we have 6 super cores and 12 performance cores. Now, the interesting thing is, with these cores, a lot of it is kind of marketing. The new super core is literally the performance core that launched in the M5, just renamed. That's it. It's the same performance core. Now, the performance cores that are labeled here, 12 of them, those are brand new cores. They're not as powerful as the performance cores that launched with the M5, but they have been improved to have better performance than the efficiency cores, but also be pretty efficient. So we no longer have specific efficiency cores like you do with the base M5 chip, but on the Pro chip, you have better versions of those pretty much. So it makes it sound a lot better, but it also makes sense because now that they have 3 different kind of cores, they need to be able to differentiate between them. So let me know your thoughts on that down below. Now, as I mentioned, we still have 20 GPU cores, but you actually get up to 4 times higher peak performance in the GPU if you can make use of those new neural accelerators that are built into each core. You guys can see the massive difference over here. Compared to the M1, the bump wasn't that big, 1.8x. Now, look at this jump right here. Now, let's just quickly go through. You see massive increases here. 3D rendering, that one is close to double over here. A lot of AI-based stuff, so I hope that you use that if you need this. Now, as far as gaming performance here, it's not as big, but it is still impressive. And as we go on, coding, even smaller of a difference. And with this new setup, overall, the CPU is seeing boosts above about 30% in terms of multi-core performance. I mean, that is really, really impressive. And in terms of the graphics, 35% if you're using ray tracing. And that is both for the M4 compared to the M4 Pro and for the Max. The memory bandwidth has a nice improvement here as well. And with their latest N1 chip, we have updated connectivity for all these new MacBook. And lastly, the SSD storage is up to twice as fast. So even though they're forcing you to buy more of it, that is nice to have that improvement as well. So let me know what you think about the M5 Pro. And now let's focus on the Max. You can now get an 18-core CPU with a 40-core GPU. Previously, we had 2 less cores. Just like with the M5 Pro. And of course, we no longer have the old efficiency cores. We have the new performance cores, which is a blend, and 6 super cores, which came out with the standard M5. Now, GPU cores are the same, but now we have those accelerators built into it and up to 614 gigabytes of memory bandwidth. That is awesome. Now, of course, a high-end GPU on a desktop PC can have faster memory bandwidth, but that's locked in the small amount. Here, you can get up to 128 gigs of RAM. That's gonna cost you $1,000 extra to upgrade to that. And of course, it's all unified. So all of it is that speed, which can actually really help people that are running different models in certain tasks. Now, some people wanted more RAM. Apple did not give it to us. It's still that same amount. And once again, Apple's really focusing on their AI and LLM performance here. That is their biggest thing. So image generation, look at that difference compared to the M4 Max. Massive chart. LLMs as well. I mean, massive improvements. Now, how many of you guys do things like that? I want to know your opinions. We did get down to 3D rendering, not as big as a improvement right there. DaVinci Resolve for render performance, of course, that's going to be using tasks that really can use those accelerators. And then code compiling, look at that very, very small difference there. And then gaming, a little bit more of a difference, but that's with ray tracing enabled. And I don't know how many people use that. So with the M5 Max overall, you get about a 15% improvement in CPU performance, about a 20% improvement in overall graphics, and up to 30% if you're gonna be using ray tracing there. Not as impressive as an upgrade as you get with the M5 Pro. That one had a bigger boost in just raw CPU performance. Other than that, the machines are pretty much the same. What are your guys' thoughts? We don't have any physical differences. We're waiting for tandem OLED models and redesigns. But there we have it. Apple dropped all of that. Now, along with that, we had this drop, and Apple accidentally leaked the MacBook Neo. And then after some articles were put out, it got taken down. I don't know if this is an accident, honestly. I think it's just to build up the hype for tomorrow for their budget laptop that we have been talking about. And lastly, Apple dropped the Studio Display XDR. I'll cover this very briefly. We've been waiting for this thing for a while. Positives are the price tag is a lot lower than the Pro Display XDR, $3,300. It comes with the stand already, and the specs are pretty dang good. It's a 5K display, no longer 6K, 2000 nits of peak brightness. You have a lot of zones, 120 hertz. That is awesome. It's using Thunderbolt 5, but we do not have a 32-inch display anymore. Apple discontinued that. That was the one that was $5,000, another $1,000 for the stand. And so if you like a 32-inch size, well, you're out of luck. Now, they also upgraded the Studio Display, pretty much put in Thunderbolt 5 in there. It's the same display panel, very old tech, still expensive at $1,600. But if you want the latest connectivity, that is there. So honestly, I wish they gave us a 32-inch option. Maybe it's just too expensive. Somebody mentioned that if you want to use two displays, it would not work with 6K at 120 hertz, even with Thunderbolt 5. But it's going to be a lot more accessible, and I think it will sell better than the previous one. So you guys let me know your thoughts with this new launch. Of course, we're going to be making a lot more videos, some more in-depth tests, some real-world comparisons. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Check out one of those videos right over there. This has been Max, and I'll see you in the next one.